They call them little black panthers, the Bombay cats. With their shiny, jet-black coats and deep golden eyes, they carry an air of quiet confidence. But behind that sleek, panther-like appearance lies a nature that's profoundly gentle and deeply loyal. This is a story about one of them, and the silent, unbreakable bond he formed. Our story takes place in a small, calm home. For several years, this home belonged to Onyx, a Bombay cat who is as black as his name suggests, from the tip of his nose to the end of his tail. He was the quiet king of his castle, moving with a silent grace through the rooms, choosing the warmest spots by the window and the most silent corners for his naps. His world was predictable, peaceful, and entirely his own. Then one day, the familiar silence of the home was broken. The scent of the air changed. A new life had arrived. The baby's name was Maya. From the very first moment Maya was carried through the door, bundled in soft blankets, Onyx sensed the shift. The house was no longer just his. New sounds echoed through the halls, sounds he'd never heard before. There were soft, high-pitched cries that seemed to pierce the quiet, followed by the slow, cautious footsteps of new parents learning their rhythm. And then there were long, deep pauses of silence, filled with a new kind of anticipation. Many cats would have hidden. They might have retreated under a bed or found a high shelf to observe from a safe distance. But Onyx wasn't like many cats. He didn't hide. He didn't run. Instead, he watched. He was curious, observant, and surprisingly calm. He chose a spot just outside the nursery door, a strategic position where he could see and hear everything. He would sit there for hours, a silent, dark sentinel, simply listening. Whenever Maya cried, Onyx's head would lift, his ears twitching, trying to decipher this new, strange sound. And whenever she was soothed and her cries softened into quiet breaths, he would settle back down, his body relaxing as the calm returned to the house. He was learning the rhythm of this new life, tuning into her every sound. As the first weeks turned into a month, Onyx slowly, almost imperceptibly, became a part of Maya's daily routine. He was no longer just an observer. He was a participant in his own quiet way. When Maya was laid on a soft blanket in the middle of the living room, her little legs kicking at the air, Onyx would approach. He moved slowly, deliberately, making sure not to startle her. He would lie down nearby, never too close, never touching, never intruding on her space. He was just close enough for his quiet presence to be felt, a steady, warm shadow in the corner of her new world. Maya, in her own baby way, seemed to notice him. She would wave her tiny, uncoordinated hands in his direction, her unfocused eyes landing on his dark form. Onyx's response was always the same. He would blink slowly. A long, slow blink is a cat's way of saying, "I trust you. I am comfortable with you." For them in those early days, that was enough. It was a silent conversation, a simple exchange of trust and acceptance. One afternoon, a golden beam of sunlight streamed through the window, illuminating the dust motes dancing in the air. Maya was lying on her playmat, awake and calm, babbling softly to herself. Onyx, who had been watching from his usual spot, decided it was time. He stood up, stretched his long black body, and walked over to her. This time he didn't stop a few feet away. He stepped closer, right up to the edge of her blanket, and curled himself into a tight, dark ball right beside her. His warm body radiated a gentle, comforting heat. As his warmth reached her, Maya's little body relaxed, and her soft babbling quieted. Onyx stayed perfectly still, a living, breathing comfort blanket. This became their silent language, their shared ritual. Their bond grew not with loud purrs or playful pounces, but in the quiet moments in between. When Maya would let out a sudden, happy gurgle or a tiny laugh, Onyx's tail would give a gentle, almost imperceptible thump-thump against the floor. When she grew tired, her eyelids getting heavy, Onyx would lower his head onto his paws, mirroring her descent into sleep. He was her constant, her furry companion in rest and wakefulness. As Maya grew, so did Onyx's role in her life. When she learned to roll over, he would watch with patient eyes, making sure to give her space. When she began to crawl, an unsteady, determined little explorer, Onyx adjusted his path. He never blocked her way. He never got underfoot. Instead, he would walk alongside her, a silent guardian on her great adventures across the living room floor. If she crawled towards something she shouldn't, he would sometimes sit directly in her path, a gentle, furry roadblock she couldn't ignore. He was always there, a step ahead or a step behind, her shadow protector. Years later, when Maya was old enough to look back at her childhood photos, she would see Onyx in almost everyone. a black tail disappearing around a corner, a pair of golden eyes peering from under a table, a dark shape curled up at the foot of her toddler bed. She would grow up remembering Onyx not just as a family pet, but as something more. He was the quiet warmth she felt beside her during afternoon naps. He was the constant, reassuring presence that made her feel safe. He was the silent shadow that stayed close no matter what. Their story is a beautiful reminder that the most profound connections don't always need noise or grand gestures. Sometimes the strongest bonds are built in the stillness, in the quiet moments of shared space and unspoken understanding. They are built with patience, with trust, and with a little black cat who simply chose to stay. Thanks for watching. If you loved this story, don't forget to like and subscribe for more tales of incredible animal bonds.